My reaction when I read the Wpath files, I think, was probably slightly different than some other people, just because I had been in this world for so long by that point. And I remember, kind of saying, well, what's this latest thing? And looking at that and just seeing how everybody was so upset and all the podcasts that were being said. And as I began to read Wpath files, I was like, we've known this stuff though. Like, this is stuff that people have been saying. Abigail Schreier's been saying this stuff. I've been talking about this stuff. Jordan Peterson's been talking about this stuff. The people who have been speaking on this particular issue have been saying these things for several years, that this is not founded on any science. It's not founded on solid data. But really what it is it's exactly what you said. It's ideology. And I believe she's still the current president, Marcy Bowers, who is a trans woman. So Marcy was Mark Bowers and transitioned to being a man, was a OBGYN doctor, married to a woman with 3 kids, and then transitioned, I think somewhere around 2007, somewhere like that, to being a woman. And Marcy Bowers went from OBGYN to being one who performs these kind of surgeries. So if any of you heard of Jazz Jennings on TLC's I'm Just Jazz, that's Marcy Bowers is Jazz's doctor, did the surgeries on Jazz Jennings. So Marcy Bowers is very well known in the trans community, and at least last I checked, was serving as the head of Wpath, right? So what you're seeing is exactly what you just mentioned. I mean, what Wpath exposed, I guess, in their own words. I think probably part of the struggle was that it's one thing if Alycia says something about it, but I'm not in Wpath. It's another thing when you actually see what they are saying themselves. And I think that's what really woke people up to realizing the doctors are admitting that they don't have good, solid evidence. One of the big things, or good, solid evidence that somebody's better post-puberty blockers and hormones than they were before. But the other thing I think that really shook people too was this idea of informed consent. And there was this whole dialogue, right, about informed consent. So maybe we could turn on that, because this idea that that these young people, the first one, let me explain what informed consent to you is, because sometimes people just think, well, you have gotten some, really big, in-depth kind of thing. Really what you are is when the provider gives you the risks and the benefits and the alternatives of a given procedure or intervention, right? So you need to give up-to-date info regarding the nature of the condition. You need to give the proposed treatment with alternatives. And then you make sure the patient actually understood what you said there, and that they were able to make informed medical decision based on what you said. And then you get signatures confirming that they got informed consent. But the reality is, and this is what you hear with the detransitioners over and over again, is they're like, I didn't know what I was doing at 12. Mm-hmm. And that's what the doctors, you see the video.
So not only did they not know, and you think of the common sense about, why there are certain laws that don't allow minors to do any number of things. And yet we think minors have the cognitive ability to make a decision like this, but not even from an informed consent, not even taking the child into consideration. The practitioners don't know the risks and rewards because there's no evidence for this yet.
Right.
So there's literally no way to have informed consent here, because the practitioners don't know fully the risks.
Yes.
They don't know even the rewards. And this is some of the stuff the CAS report shows. And you're dealing with a minor who can't really make sense of it all anyways. It is malpractice at its worst, what's taking place here.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think that's what was so shocking for people, is to hear the actual doctor say, I really don't think this kid really understood really what I was kind of getting at, because they're so young, and, have they even taken biology class yet, and these kind of things. And you're like, that's exactly what we're saying, why you shouldn't be doing this to children. They don't know. And and so that's exactly what's happening. And to hear it from their mouths, I think was pretty shocking for a lot of people, because I think at the end of the day, people still had some hope and trust that Wpath was working with integrity. And the doctors that were using Wpath's research, were either, saying, well, we're going to trust the Wpath scholars, or, people that know this best, or feeling pressured, because there's a lot of that came out in the CAS report, is the pressure, or the CAS review, that the pressure that doctors in the UK felt when they felt like there were some issues in the silence, that they were kind of like, or maybe even being let go or pressured to leave, whatever. Right. So doctors were under a lot of pressure. And so it's like, there was no checks and balances here to really say,